So, I have officially decided once and for all to start not YouTubing, but to start recording my journey of this new weight loss challenge for myself, not for anybody else. It's been about 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Wow. It's been 5 years since I started weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever you want to call it. It's been about 5 years since I started, and since I officially have been consistent, meaning an everyday regimen, meaning taking weightlifting seriously when it comes to researching, doing my due diligence and looking up certain exercising, executing them correctly, getting the right form, feeling muscle contractions, tearing muscle fibers, recovery, learning about diet, which obviously I have not implemented that one to its fullest. But for so long, I was so focused on trying to become lean and have mass at the same time. But realistically, we all know that that's a fantasy that you can't obtain. You definitely have to gain mass before you can slim down and show any type of results. So I remember about in 2018, 2019, 2018, let's say 2018, I first started weightlifting. And just to give you a little backstory, my whole life I was pretty big. I was a chunky dude. Got bullied for it, not trying to fit you into a sad story, bruh. But yeah, I've pretty much lived my whole life pretty big. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I stuck to it this time. But about in 2018 is when I took fitness seriously and I slimmed down quite a lot. I remember going up all the way to, I was close to 300 pounds, bruh. Yeah, I was close to 300 pounds. I was about 285 to 290, around there. No muscle whatsoever. I'm talking about a pretty hefty dude. Probably put a picture somewhere right here, somewhere right there. And I wasn't satisfied at all. I was very depressed. And I remember back in my college days, around like, let's say 2017, 2016, I was very into fitness. And I stopped, gained a massive amount of weight. Was super unhealthy, had super bad eating habits. And I finally took it serious, and I ended up slimming down all the way to 195. I was 195, which I'll post a picture here. I slimmed down to 195, and for some reason I was satisfied, but not satisfied, if that makes sense. I was satisfied. I was more proud of myself for being able to obtain that kind of mentality and consistency and discipline, and being able to see results. I remember there's a certain clip which I'll also put where I never ever have worked out with the tank top or nothing like that, because I was always very self-conscious of my body. I remember recording one specific video in my home gym. It's a gym that I built in my garage. I was so self-conscious of my body that I invested into my own home gym. And that's where I started working out. That's where I started taking it seriously. I bought all this equipment and everything. Invested quite a bit of money. And I remember it wasn't until this one specific video about in 2019, 2020, which is this one right here. I looked at myself in a tank top when I was working out, and I was so in shock. I was like, what? I was like, there's no way. I was like, when did I get like this? When? Because for so long I work out with baggy clothes, I work out with sweaters. And I remember I was at a point of like disbelief. I was so amazed. I was like, there's no way I put in this much work and like I can finally see it, right? Because don't get me wrong, like consistency is it's a very key thing, because you don't see results from day to night. You won't see results in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes even 4. You might see results within the first 2 months, because you'll lose your body. You'll first lose water weight, which is very noticeable. That's when people start giving you compliments like, hey, you're losing weight. You start seeing it in your face, you start seeing it in your tummy, you start seeing it in your arms, wherever it might be. Everybody's different, everybody has different genetics. But I remember looking at myself and I was like, man, this is crazy. But there was also something that hit, which was body dysmorphia. Where I wasn't satisfied. For some reason, I was like, man, like, I like that I'm slimmer. I can fit into the certain clothes. I look nice. Whatever, right? But social media is such a poison. Because at that point, I should have been satisfied. I should have been content with my body and just maintain a healthy lifestyle, healthy regimen. But because you see all these influencers being cut, being bulky, having these kind of your mind starts getting brainwashed and wanting to obtain that. Realistically, a lot of those dudes are juicing up. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm afraid of that stuff because I've heard so many cases where people die. But yeah, I was just like, I'm not satisfied. So what did I do? I started bulking up again. I started bulking up until me till 2024. The bulk has not stopped, baby. You call that forever bulk. But anyway. But anyway. It's 2024. Alright, I'm not saying new year, new me, because that's wild. That's super corny. But I definitely want to see the results of all the hard work that I've been putting in. I think I've gained enough mass. I can see the mass on my upper body, on my legs. And yeah, I want to slim down. And I think recording this journey is also going to help me hold myself accountable. And I'm going to be able to see the journey. I'm going to be able to see the process. And honestly, I'm excited to start this venture. I'm excited to start recording it because it's something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. But there's been so many obstacles, so many reasons, so many excuses on why I haven't. And with my social media content, I'm more of a guy that's just like, just post it, just get content out. And if you do not follow me on Instagram, it's right there. Make sure you follow. I post a lot of Christian content, so I am a Christian. I am a man of God. I do serve at church. I am one of the worship directors. So I sing. That's why you hear my voice a little strained. Because today is Monday. Yesterday was Sunday. I sang at church. And your boy likes to scream for some reason. I do not know why, but my voice ends up leaving me. But glory be to God. It's such a blessing. And what more can I ask for, man? But you'll see more of that content as well. I don't know where this is going to take. I don't know where this is going to take off, to be honest. But if you stick with it, if you're down with it, stick around. Right now, we're on our way to the gym. We hitting legs, baby. Monday morning, we hitting legs. I'm going to hit them hard. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't know what got into me, but for some reason, I want to hit them hard. Am I going to be able to walk? No idea. But let's go hard. Monday morning, we want to start off strong. And definitely want to get legs out of the way. Not to say that I don't like to hit legs, because I do. I ain't gonna lie, it's a different feeling than upper body. Legs is definitely something where you have to push yourself mentally, not only physically. But I want to focus on like quad and hamstring. I go to a powerlifting gym, so I don't really have a lot of options when it comes to equipment. So I definitely have to improvise a whole lot. So that means with barbells, dumbbells. We do have some equipment for leg accessories, but not a whole lot. But I have to film for the gym. It's 8:37, so depending if anybody's using the squat rack, it's gonna depend when I start working out. But that should take about no more than 30 minutes to film. It cannot take more than 30 minutes. Just have to give it a nice little wipe down, and yeah, record it, and then get into my workout. But you'll see all that. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I have an idea of how I want to get started. A warm-up is definitely in high priority, in my priority. I want to be able to get blood flowing through my legs, wake myself up a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I'm pulling up right now, so I'll catch you guys either when I'm recording or my first workout. We'll see. So this was a massive fail. As you can see, I have my wireless mic obviously hooked up to my hat, but for some reason the receiver keeps on disconnecting or turning off or whatever it is. So therefore, I have to do a voiceover. So you're gonna have to hear me for a little while, but just so I can explain exactly what I am doing. So I'm starting off with leg extensions. Again, this is one of my feeler sets, and then the second clip I move on to my actual working set, which I think at this point I bumped it up to 175, and I literally just try to crank it out. Again, still trying to maintain my form, but at the same time trying to maintain intensity as well. As I get closer to the 10 rep range or even to the 12, I try my hardest to still maintain that same tempo, although it gets difficult. As you can tell, it burns like crazy. I could barely even walk. But then I move forward to another exercise, which I actually really, really enjoy these. They're called elevated squats. And this literally just allows me to be able to squat with my feet placement a lot closer to each other. to really focus the movement on my quads. Again, not really focusing on the heavy weight on this specific movement, only because I'm going for a higher rep range. Trust me, I challenge you to try this out in your next workout, and you tell me how heavy you can go, because these are pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. These definitely get me gassed. But again, it's not that heavy at all. It's just more so the amount of focus that this gives your quads is insane. You get a dumb pump out of it for sure. But I went ahead and added 10 pounds on each side, just because I wanted to be able to feel it just a tiny bit more. I feel like a plate on each side was just slightly too light. But again, the main focus on this for me, or my mindset throughout each rep, when it comes to the bottom portion of it, I definitely want to be able to push with my heel, or the center of my feet. The way that your feet are placed on whatever you decide to elevate your feet with. In this case, I'm using a 35-pound bumper plate. But the feet placement is going to feel a little awkward. So you definitely have to find the right positioning for you to be able to really focus on mainly pressing with your heels, if that makes sense. But yeah, I did 4 sets of these, around 12 to 15 reps, depending on how I felt. So we end up moving on to laying leg curls. Again, my first 2 sets are always my warm-up sets or feeler sets. I typically don't go heavy, just so I can really get the mind-muscle connection going first before I do any intense work or any high repetition or any type of heavier weight. But I'm really trying to get my mind to focus on the contraction and the pulling motion, and then the descending part of the movement. I really try to control it as much as I can. As I start moving forward to the actual working sets, which you see in this following clip, I really try to brace my core, and I try to brace my grip as best as I can to really try to focus any strength on my hamstrings. And that typically works for me. Again, this is what works for me. Something different can work for you. But after I start feeling a little fatigue, I try to go for a little bit of that extra push and try to get as many partial reps as I can. But then I move forward. I end up moving forward to RDLs. Now, RDLs, I like to call them the bread and butter for hamstrings. Literally, there's nothing else that beats this when it comes to any type of hamstring work. I do use straps just so I can avoid any type of other function of any other muscle group. I don't have to worry about my grip giving out. I did end up going to 2 plates on each side on this, but my camera ended up dying, so yeah. But I hope you enjoy it. I'll get back to the audio. So, as you can tell, my camera died, but we're done with the workout. Finished off those RDLs with 2 plates on each side. Felt amazing. Activation was crazy. So I didn't really do too much. I did 2 movements that focused on my quads, and 2 movements that focused on my hamstrings. Again, I typically like to do 2 feeler sets and then 2 working sets. Today was kind of one of those days where I try to push myself as much as I could, obviously being very careful, and really focusing on the contraction and the negative portion of the movement to really try to get that muscle mind connection. But I ended up finishing the workout with Stairmaster. That was tough. I did 25 minutes of Stairmaster. Wasn't that bad. I want to start incorporating cardio just because it is very important when it comes to cutting down. Obviously, diet is also very important, but cardio is definitely one of those key factors that's going to help me shed off this weight. Most likely, I want to start doing 2 a day, so that means kind of like a power building, bodybuilding kind of style of workout in the morning, and then in the late afternoon just hit some cardio. I do have a treadmill at home, so I'm gonna end up doing some incline, something with incline, walking incline, whatever it is, and that's gonna be for a longer duration of time, probably like 35 minutes to about 50, depending on how I feel, how much water intake I get, what kind of food I'm eating throughout the day, will also determine the energy level. I'm gonna head home right now. I'm gonna eat most likely some chicken and rice. I did work out fasted today. I typically like to work out fasted only because I don't ever like to work out feeling full or anything in my stomach. I like to avoid feeling nauseous, in other words, to be honest. But I like to work out fasted. Other people like to have a strong meal before they lift. Different reasons, different purposes, different goals, I guess you can say. But me personally, I find the best results, best workouts when I'm fasted. That's typically how I like to maintain it. And I typically break my fast around 12 or 1. My last meal the day before is typically around 8 o'clock, 7, depending on what I eat the day before. Or for example, yesterday I had church, and they usually have food there, and that was around 6:30. So my last meal from last night was 6:30. I'm lying. I'm lying. They had donuts. They had donuts. I'm gonna lie. Bro. I had 2 of them. That's another reason why I went really hard today, you know. But we getting there, man. We getting there. This is breaking routines, breaking habits, you know. But yeah, yesterday my last meal was around 7, and from 7 till by the time I get home, it should be around midday. So yeah, breaking my fast around 12. There are obviously a lot of benefits to working out fasted. For me personally, I typically like to work out like that. Just helps me shed weight a lot quicker, helps me sweat. And I don't rely on food for energy, to be honest. But I think I'm just rambling at this point. It's at home because my camera's also about to die. And I'll catch you guys when we are doing cardio. So the afternoon cardio, late afternoon cardio, that is to say. I typically like to take this time to read the word. So I have my headphones, and I typically read along with the audio and just meditate. Um, it's freezing outside. I think it's close to, let's see, it's 53 degrees. So it's gonna be a little tough for me to work up a sweat, but I just wanna be a little more active, burn a little more calories throughout the day. But I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna read a little bit. We'll see how far I go, and I'll catch up with you guys after. Honestly, I don't even know what happened to my voice, bro. I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. It's weird, but we're gonna get this done. All right. I did 42 minutes. Um, Not that bad. I definitely want to start progressing time and intensity. As we get deeper into the cut, it's going to be a lot harder for my body to lose body fat. So the intensity is definitely going to have to go up. But I think starting for now, just to get my body into the feel of things again, I think that's around the right time, the length of time when it comes to cardio for now. It's not that. Okay, so I don't know where I left off. But I did cardio, 42 minutes. It's not that bad. As I get deeper into my cut, I definitely want to increase time and intensity. Because the deeper I get into my cut, the more difficult it's going to be for my body to lose its body fat percentage. But while I was doing cardio, I was reading the book of Genesis, and it's a beautiful book. It's an amazing book, specifically uh, on the storyline of Abraham and his descendants, and how the Lord favored Abraham, and how because he favored Abraham, the rest of his descendants and the rest of his generations to follow were blessed and were taken care of and were favored by the Lord. And when God makes a promise, He keeps it, not just for you, but for your generations to come. It's beautiful. If you haven't read the book of Genesis, that specific story is from chapters 20 and on, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. I definitely highly recommend reading the Bible in general. But it's definitely something that I started incorporating lately when it comes to doing cardio.